I bet you're wondering, why two parts? Well, I just received some very important information in the last part that I actually needed for this video, and I will explain that later on. Moving on to what I was just saying in the last part. Now, hopefully both parts will be up to date. That doesn't usually happen, but I did need this information, and I really did appreciate it. So let's move on. So, we just finished talking about the United States Championship match. What I was about to mention is the one thing I'm not too pleased about is that Jeff Hardy is getting a rematch on SmackDown against Shinsuke Nakamura. I was really hoping that Jeff Hardy would be taking time off after this incident, because from what I've seen and heard, he really needs the time off. So, what does this mean? I don't know. Is he sticking around? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. And what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Apollo here from Down, Down, Up, Up. As I just mentioned, this is part 2 of my result and review videos for Extreme Rules. Part 1 I will put in the description because these are literally being recorded back to back, but I got some very important information at the end of part 1 that I needed. And let's all enjoy the rest of the video. Moving on. So, we just finished, again, talking about the United States Championship picture. We are now moving in to the steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. A feud that started because of what? That's what I've really been confused about this whole time. What really instigated this feud between Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman? Was it just Kevin Owens' attitude that Braun just does not like and will do anything to shut him up? I don't know. Apparently, that might be the reason. Because Braun Strowman just doesn't like Kevin Owens. We've seen what he's done to him week in and week out for the past number of weeks. Money in the Bank was a really good example, and we got a spot similar to that in this show. So, yeah. Before we talk about that, though, I actually enjoyed the cage match. It wasn't as monotonous as I thought it would be. Kevin tries to escape. Braun's getting most of the offense. Kevin got some good shots in, though, some kicks, cannonballs, using the cage as a weapon for some parts by Braun, obviously. But then what does Kevin do later in the match? He gets himself a pair of handcuffs and cuffs Braun to the rope. The only problem is, you did it to Braun Strowman. Am I supposed to believe that a man who's lifted vehicles is going to be stopped by a regular pair of handcuffs? Apparently I am, because Braun could not get out of those things in a few seconds. It was a really poor move by WWE. It was very unbelievable, and it's not the right way to be treating your Money in the Bank winner. But that just happens to be the thing. WWE just treats their Money in the Bank winners like garbage these days, and it's a real shame. But it's Braun Strowman. He's wonderful, but I know, that was pretty silly. So what happens? Kevin begins to climb, and apparently he had a lot of attitude error in this match because he did the DX shops. He hit a stunner on Strowman at one point, and then he does a little bit of Mick Foley later, and we'll talk about that right now. Kevin's climbing up the cage. Braun breaks out of the handcuffs, like you do when you're Braun Strowman. He climbs up the cage, and then what does he do? Does he pull Owens back in? Does he escape himself? No, he just throws Owens off, and Owens falls to an announce table and wins the match. Owens really needed this win, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. This is the match where I was expecting interference, but I didn't get it. What did we get? We got a little bit closer to death with Kevin Owens, because when he took that bump, he grabbed at his head in such an uncomfortable way. It made me cringe. I was very scared for that man. It didn't look good at all. But no, apparently it's just Kevin Owens is great at selling. He's great at doing his job. Well done, Kevin. I'm glad you won. I hope you're not written off TV, because bad things. So let's move on. And I guess we know one thing. Braun Strowman did not care about winning that match. Big deal for Kevin to win, too. It's not like Braun loses every day. But granted, Braun's only been pinned 3 times from what I'm aware of on television. Like I said, though, moving on. We are now on to the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, and hence why I needed to stop part 1 and do part 2, because I got some news in that match that I wasn't aware of until now. Now let's talk about it. Earlier in the show, there was footage of Harper and Rowan attacking Kane and Daniel Bryan backstage and apparently trying to make it look like they injured Kane's leg. Now we go to the match and it's Bryan versus the Bludgeon Brothers all by himself. And eventually, yes, Kane is able to come back out. However, he's wearing some sort of cast on his leg. Not able to do too much, hits a couple of choke slams, goes for the tombstone, cannot hit it whatsoever, tags back out. Bryan tries to get fired up again, but what happens? He got hit with some kind of doomsday device and got pinned. Now, I did think the Bludgeon Brothers were going to win this match, and I actually thought Bryan would take the fall. Why? It's WWE, and you might as well have the little person pinned. It's a sad mentality to look at, but I know WWE in some cases, and this was one of them. A lot of people were really annoyed by that fact. And sorry, guys, Daniel Bryan, he still will never be looked at highly by the company. Not in the big way that people like Roman Reigns are. So, it's okay, though. He's wonderful. And he's still on TV. And he might be staying longer. It's Daniel Bryan. He's a good guy. But now, moving on to the piece of news that I received at the end of part 1. Why did they book this match like they did? I was about to go on a full rant, but the news was brought in. Apparently, Kane has suffered a real-life foot injury, aka an ankle injury. It is legitimate, apparently, and that's why they booked it as is. Again, I was about to go on a full rant of why this was needed. Why did they book it like this? But no, apparently Kane was hurt, and they didn't want to cancel Team Hell No tagging together. They could have easily booked another team, a surprise opponent, but I think it was just something they weren't comfortable doing only because Team Hell No was promoted and advertised so much for this show, they just weren't able to cancel. And props to Kane doing what he did then, because I know it's not fun to work with an injury. So, I can't hate it. I can't hate that. There was a lot of big reasons why we couldn't have canceled this match, and the reason, obviously, you are watching part 2 of my results and review video. Thank you all. You're watching. You're still here. You're beautiful. Love you. So that's really the biggest reason right now. Kane was really hurt, and we just couldn't take Team Hell No's chance away. It had to go down as is. Can we complain? Of course we can complain. Why was Daniel Bryan pinned by that means? But moving on. We now move on to a match that I think most of us would expect as the main event of the show. But it wasn't. I'm talking about Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. I was really surprised when they were playing the promo package and whatnot for this, thinking, oh, wait, this isn't the main event. Ooh, what does this mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means the crowd isn't that annoyed. That's right, I said isn't. It's not, they are not that annoyed going into this match because, yes, they were fading out of it, but they were brought back into it, which is a bit impressive. Reigns versus Lashley itself, it wasn't actually that bad. There were a few spots that really grabbed my attention, such as Roman just straight up hitting an attitude adjustment to Lashley from the ring to the floor. Didn't see that coming. And then the power moves, obviously, there were some rest holds, but getting through it. Superman punches, the straight up suplex by Lashley, still not enough to end the match. We all knew a spear was coming. Roman Reigns finally has the opportunity he's been waiting for. Hoo-ah, off the ropes, but Lashley catches him with the spear. The first spear of the match, and the only spear of the match. 1, 2, 3. Bobby Lashley pins Roman Reigns clean on WWE pay-per-view in a mid-card match. Wow, I can't say I saw that coming. I was really surprised by that, and I really enjoyed it too. It's not like this happens every day. So, what happens now? Well, Lashley wants the Universal title, and he wants Brock. This is what I was talking about in part 1. I want to see this. I've been wanting to see this for more than 10 years. It's just a match that you don't need to advertise. Just tell them, guys, it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley tonight. Oh, I gotta come see that. That's all you need to do. We've been waiting for this for so long, and at this point, I will straight up tell you all, I don't care if it's good. I don't care if it's bad. but it's something that I just need to see. And that, straight up, is my honest opinion. Let's see what happens going into SummerSlam. What happens to Lashley? Does Brock show up? What happens to Reigns? What happens to Mr. Monster in the Bank? Questions we will all one day find the answer to. Let's move on. We then had a very low highlight for this show, in my opinion. Didn't care for it at all because I'm sick of the feud and I know exactly what they're doing with it. I will only be happy when Ronda Rousey breaks Bliss's arm and takes that title away from her. But if WWE is intending that, then good job, you have gotten my attention for it. It was Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss in the Extreme Rules match of the night. What was it? It was okay. There was a good spot I like where Bliss was just throwing out, like grabbing weapons from under the ring. Like Mickie James was there, so was Natalya, and obviously Ronda was front row. Mickie was grabbing weapons, trying to give them to Bliss to hit Nia. What does Nia do? She just no-sells all of it. She grabs them, throws them in the ring. Garbage cans, kendo sticks, chairs, garbage can lids, all that stuff. The match was back and forth. And it was what you kind of expected. It wasn't anything great. We've seen this Nia Bliss program for months now, and it's so stale and old. I just don't care about it. I only would have cared if Nia won the title. But what happened? No, she didn't win the title. Ronda Rousey got sick of Natalya finally getting beaten down by James and Bliss. She got up. She threw down Mickie James, hit a big slam in the ring, then went after Bliss. But apparently that's not enough to keep Mickie James down because Mickie came with the kendo stick. Boom! Ronda gets hit. She stays down. Nia Jax is then put on a 2-on-1 situation. And after an attempt at a Samoan drop, no, Nia Jax, you get DDT'd on a chair by Bliss. 1, 2, 3. The bloody obvious. I can't give any praise to this because I just don't care about the feud, and I'm not a fan of Bliss holding the title anymore. It came and went, and it should have been, the wait time should have been longer than just a couple of months for her to take it back. So, yeah, really all I have to say. But let's move on to bigger and better things. What am I talking about exactly? I'm talking about the WWE Championship match. Rusev versus AJ Styles. Many people may have been disappointed. I wasn't. I was so happy to see Rusev in the spotlight for the WWE Championship match. I felt just so happy to just see him where he belongs, even though it was for one night. It felt like such a big darn deal. When he hit that Machka kick, I was totally believing he was just going to win the title right there. Obviously he didn't, but the match itself was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. Some of the spots were really good. I wasn't expecting AJ to work the leg. Rusev was in a bit of trouble there. Did not tap, though. It led into why Rusev could not fully apply the accolade during the match and really worked on the kicks. AJ hit forearms early, but not enough to put Rusev away. But then Aiden English interfered, but we saw what he did. He pulled the turnbuckle pad down when the referee wasn't looking, and who goes into it? Not AJ, but Rusev. 450 by AJ from the apron. 1, 2, no! Rusev kicking out. That was actually a really good feel moment. But then AJ finally has enough. He takes down English. Another forearm to Rusev. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles keeps the WWE Championship. No surprise there. But I was just so happy to see Rusev there. I feel very sympathetic right now. I just really love to see him where he belongs. I will keep saying that, and I will keep meaning it every single time. Good job, Rusev. You earned it, my friend, and I hope you earn a lot more. Well, you've already earned everything. You just haven't achieved it yet. So, hope you achieve a lot more in the future. This was a big step, and I'm looking forward to more to come. Well done. Well done. And AJ Styles, it's AJ Styles. He's great. I can't be mad at AJ Styles won. I mean, I could, but then I'd have to rant about why I don't like AJ, and I like AJ, so I'd have to lie. So, no. But now let's move on to the last match of the night, and I have a lot to say about this. One, I did not hate it because it's what I wanted. I wanted this to be a ton of falls kind of match, and it was what I expected. I would have even expected more. I just didn't see them doing any kind of amazing match like they did on Raw. Why? Because they already did it on Raw. It's time for falls. But I didn't expect it in the main event. But I still got what I wanted. So that's why I'm pleased about it. But what happened exactly? Well, it was a bit quick. And again, what I wanted. Seth Rollins started racking up the falls quick. He got a lucky roll up after hitting a buckle bomb on Ziggler, so that's 1-0 Rollins in the first 5-ish minutes, I think. Then a curb stomp, that's 2-0 Rollins. Then what happens? McIntyre hits the ring and causes a disqualification by assaulting the heck out of Rollins. So that's 3-0 Rollins. But Drew went ape. He attacked Rollins for at least, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe or something, and he had a Claymore too. Then finally he got ejected. But the plan worked. It actually worked to perfection as much as it could have. Why? Ziggler got a fall off of McIntyre's damage. That's 3-1. Rollins still in the lead. But then a super kick by Ziggler. That's 2. And then a zigzag. And that's 3. We're already tied up. And I still think we had about half the match to go, maybe even more. And then it really took its time. The Rollins hit the KL. I call it a KL. I think it was called the Kingslayer's Landing. It's his knee where he turns around and hits the knee. I just call it a KL. I just like the sound of that to me. That's all. Does not get a fall. Frog splash? No. Ziggler got the famous or no. What gets the falls? Because yes, there were more. A sneaky little pin by Ziggler with his feet on the ropes. That gets it 4-3 Ziggler, with Ziggler leading for the first time in the match. Rollins was finally able to tie it up, though, in the last 3-4-ish minutes of the match with a slingshot into the turnbuckle and then a roll-up. And then curb stomp. Rollins crawling toward the cover. Can he make it? No. No, he can't. Time expired. The match was officially called as a draw. But then Kurt Angle came out. Of course he was going to come out, guys. It's Pittsburgh. Of course Kurt Angle's going to come out. And once I finish talking about this match, I'm going to talk about you, Pittsburgh. Every single time you do something, it always gets us mad. But first, let's talk about the rest of the match. So, Kurt Angle comes out, tells us all this match is going into sudden death. Ziggler, get your butt back to the ring. This match is still going. So Ziggler does, but what happens? Drew McIntyre shows up out of nowhere, distracts Seth, zigzag by Ziggler. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler retains his Intercontinental Championship against Seth Rollins in the main event of Extreme Rules. Wow, really pleased about this because it went the way I would have preferred it to go. But wow, no help from anyone. No one wanted to help Seth. Ambrose did not show up. Jason Jordan did not show up. And Ziggler and McIntyre got away with it all. So what does this mean for the feud exactly? Not sure. It seems like it's still going to go on. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get a tag match at SummerSlam if Ambrose comes back in time. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Again, this is why we look forward to what's next. With that said, I know it's not the greatest idea to just throw a ton of falls on Ziggler and Rollins. But the thing is, they're great and they can bounce back from it all easy. We've seen what they can do. Just remember, we've seen what they can do. So this is just a minor setback. It's all good. So with that being said, Extreme Rules came to a close. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were its down moments, but some of them came for reasons, aka why I had to do a part 2. I got the information about Kane being really hurt. Haha, not a good thing, but it makes me fully understand why they did what they did. I've explained it already in the video. Let's talk about something else. So, what are we going to talk about now? Let's think about it. Pittsburgh. Every single time. Armageddon 2007, your lukewarm reactions to everything that happened at that show. Clash of Champions. Or no, I could be wrong. No, I believe it was actually Roadblock End of the Line 2016. All the dumb faces that got cut to you. There are other occasions, but there's something about Pittsburgh that just really angers a lot of people. And me, yeah, it ticks me off a bit time to time, but I'm only just talking about it. If I had a real rage, I could go on. What did they do this time? Well, it was a good start. There was a good pop for the B team. Everything else was getting fair pops. Then what do they do for the Iron Man match? They count down with the clock for ages. And it was cute and funny the first time, but what happened? They just kept doing it. And then what happens? WWE takes the clock away from them. That's right, they take the clock off the screen. But what does Pittsburgh do? Well, it's like taking candy away from a baby. The baby is going to keep screaming, crying. So what do? They keep doing their countdown even though they don't have a clock. It was annoying, it was disrespectful, and I really didn't like it at the end of it. I was happy to be sitting at home watching this. Can you imagine? If I was there, I would have been so annoyed. I'm trying to watch Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler put on, in my opinion, was a decent match. What does Pittsburgh do? Just louse it all up. So, I'm not going to go too much into it. I've said what I said what was needed to be said. Shame on you, Pittsburgh. Nutty. Nutty, nutty, nutty. Get a newspaper, just smack the screen. Don't have a newspaper on me, though. Why? Because we are very much into the internet, aren't we? But that doesn't mean I have a newspaper somewhere. I mean, I could go up and get a newspaper from some other room besides this wonderful den. But don't really feel like it. Yeah, this is, we're getting off topic. Thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know what you all thought of Extreme Rules. Did you like the show? Were there any high or low moments for you? Anything you really didn't expect? Anything you expected but you felt good walking away from? Let me know in the comments below. In the description is part 1. Check it out if you have not seen my part 1 results and review video for Extreme Rules. Love you guys. Again, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I have more glitch and funny moment videos coming from you from WWE 2K Games. I'm hoping to get more out maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. Depends. Thank you all for watching. See you guys later. Have a great summer. We're just about halfway through July, so wow. Keep it real.